So sixth graders, for English, you are required to maintain independent reading on your own time. We will read in class sometimes, but it's your responsibility as a sixth grade English student to read a book of your own choosing on your own time. In English, I challenge you to read 40 books. And I know some of you are like, 40 books? I know that seems like a lot because in your mind you're thinking like 40 books, 40 huge, thick books. And that's not the case. These kind of books are part of the 40 book challenge, but they're not all of the 40 book challenge. So you have a sheet here that we do the tower of books. So basically you're trying to build a tower of all the books that you're reading. In order to reach 40 books, you have to spread what you read over all these categories. So we're going to talk today about genres, and then over the next week, you're going to learn what all of these genres are if you don't already know what they are. But each genre, there's 8 of them, when including 5 of your own choice, and 5 of each, and that will get you to your 40 books. You can read your 40 books in any order. You check them off as you go. So if you read a realistic fiction book, you would just check it off. And then if you read a nonfiction book, you would just check it off. So a couple things at the bottom, it says there is not a page limit on the books you read from each genre. You may read a book if it is of a middle school reading level, no matter how many or how few pages. Something that's not allowed. Picture books are not allowed. So anything that's like mostly pictures and very little words doesn't count. Picture books are really designed for younger readers who are still learning how to read, so they need little words and a lot of picture. This is not okay for middle school. We read these for fun, but they are not part of the 40 book challenge. What would work, for example, is a book of poetry. So this is a poetry book. It only has 116 pages and a few pictures. It's obviously mostly words. This would count. And if you read this book, you check off poetry. The other thing that would count is just your typical, this is actually science fiction. This book is 290 pages. This would count. You would check off fantasy or science if you read the selection. Something else that would count, this book, Secrets of the Mummies. Some of you are like, well, that looks like a picture book. It's not. It's actually nonfiction because you're going to learn about mummies. And when you open it up, there's more words than there are pictures. There's more information. So it's different than a picture book because it actually has information. If you read this book, which is 48 pages, it counts under nonfiction. So some of you that are freaking out about 40 books, some of the books can be read in 2 days, like this. Also, if you do choose to read a book like The Red Pyramid or the Twilight series or Harry Potter, which are notoriously known for being really thick, this book is 500 and some pages. Any book over 350 pages counts as 2. So if I read The Red Pyramid, which is actually goes under traditional literature, I would be able to check 2 boxes because it's more than 350 pages. So this sheet is just one piece where you will check off and keep track of the genres that you read. The second thing each of you are going to have to do is you're going to have to write a goal each quarter, because in order to get to 40 books by the end of the school year, you have to break it down each quarter. And some kids break it down differently. Basically, it equals 10 books per quarter. If you read 10 books in quarter 1, 10 books in quarter 2, 3 and 4, you'll get to 40. And remember, 10 books, you could do 1 long book, that's 2, a short book, 3 nonfiction, and a poetry, and you'd be at 10. It's not as impossible as it seems. So you will write your name on this sheet, quarter 1, whatever hour you are. My reading goal this quarter is to read 10 books. This is a good reading goal for me because I'm trying to get to 40 books. You don't fill out this bottom half, fill this section out at the end of the quarter. You will go back at the end of quarter one and see how you did for your goal. So everybody will be setting a goal today as well. The other thing you have to do for independent reading is you have to keep track of every book that you read. This is where your tower comes into play. So this sheet actually starts, I didn't grab the other sheet that starts at 1, but the other one actually starts at 1, and you're building up to 40. And you'll see that we've marked 30 in dark, 20, and 10. So if you're freaking out about 40 books, if not everybody makes 40 books, I get it. 40 books is a huge, lofty goal. And if you feel like there's no way I'm going to read 40 books, the minimum for 6th grade by the end of the year is 10 books, meaning every 6th grader should be able to read 10 books in a year. And again, we're not saying 10 huge novels. We're saying 10 different genres of books. So 10 is the minimum. Like, if you're not reading at least 2 to 3 books a quarter, we're going to have a conversation because you need to be reading. But every book that you read, you have to fill out in this log. So I'm just going to say, let's say I'm on book 23, Secrets of the Mummies. And you're really going to want to fill this out while you have the book. So many kids are like, I returned that book to the library and I don't know how many. Well, figure it out because you should have kept it. The author is Shelley Tanaka. And then it asks genre and subgenre. This is nonfiction and it's informational nonfiction. So it's nonfiction. It's an informational book. How many pages did it have? 46. The date that you finished it, September 22nd. So for every book you read, you have to fill this out. So by the end of the quarter, you have a record of the books that you read. There's one last piece that is optional. You don't have to do this. These are ways to get yourself into the prize drawing. These are tickets that if you fill them out, if you do it all, you can put it in the prize bucket and it raises your chance of being drawn out. So again, this is title of the book, author, how many pages, genre, subgenre, the date you started it, the date you finished it. If for some reason you didn't finish it, date abandoned. And then you have to write a $4 summary. What a $4 summary means is you have to write a summary of your book that adds up to $4. Each word is worth 10 cents and punctuation is worth 5 cents. Spaces are free. So you have to make a summary that is exactly $4. So you really have to think about it. And you really have to choose your words carefully and summarize your book in $4. If I draw your ticket out and your summary isn't $4, it doesn't count. So that's what makes this a little trickier to get into the prize drawing. This is optional. But for every single book you read, you can fill out one of these tickets and put it in the prize drawing. So, again, for independent reading, your main things you have to do to keep track. Beginning of the quarter, we will write a goal. I actually will keep this so you don't lose it. And then at the end of the quarter, we'll reflect. Every book that you read, you record on your Tower of Books log, and you check it off here so you can keep track of which genre you're reading from. You can't just read 40 poetry books. That does not work. You must spread the love. The most you can read of any genre is 10, because let's say you just love historical fiction and you read 5 historical fiction books. Well, you could read 5 more of your choice, but then that's it. No more historical fiction. We're trying to get you to read from different genres. And then this is your optional. The green one is you can do it if you want, and if you do it, the ticket goes in the prize bucket. So that's independent reading for 6th grade.